So, what would you like to know? How I live my life is by trying to connect people and also trying to help them find their core passion and follow that. This is the new toy, which is super exciting.
Yes.
I'm Juliette Siegfried, and I'm an American who's been living in the Netherlands for about 15 years now. I'm a DJ. I'm 58 years old. I was born in Chicago, Illinois, in the US, and moved to Philadelphia when I was about 11 years old and spent the rest of my time in the US on the East Coast. I first fell in love with dance music in the 70s when I discovered disco, which was brand new then, and my first record was a bunch of disco hits, and I loved people like Donna Summer, and so I was dancing from around 11 or 12, and that was a big part of my youth. When we moved to Philadelphia and I became a teenager, I started going to dance clubs when I was 15 or 16. They had special clubs. They had clubs that were open for adults over 21, but then they would open them earlier for younger people, and so I spent a lot of time going out dancing to music there. I got on the brand new internet and I put out a message and said, I'd like to go to a rave. And I got a message back from a sweet young man. He was having his 18th birthday party in a little venue in Virginia. And he invited me, and I grabbed a friend and I went, and I was 28 or so. And I went in, and he was a DJ, and he was playing, and all his friends were there. And the minute I heard the music, I knew. It was amazing. And then a few weeks or months later, I got back on the brand new internet, and I said, anyone over 25 like electronic music? And I got a message back from a lawyer who was a couple years older than me, and he was having a gathering at his apartment that weekend, and they were going to the underground party in Washington, D.C., the biggest club. It was called, at the time it was called the Capitol Ballroom, and the party was called Buzz. And this was 1997, 98 or something. And he said, yeah, come join us. You found your people. And there they all were, my age or older. That was the start of it all. We would take buses up to New York and go to Twilo and spend the night there, and the bus would take us back home. Pretty quickly, my friends noticed that I liked the harder side of things, and I started exploring techno when they said, Juliette, you really have to come with us to hear Richie Hawtin in Pittsburgh in 1999, I think it was. They took me up there to Pittsburgh, and I heard him, and I never looked back. So I got into people like Chris Liebing and Luke Slater and Sven Väth and all of the original crew. One of the advantages of being older was I had the disposable income to go out and buy turntables. So I bought some brand new Technique 1200s, which is all there was, of course, then, and a mixer. And I still remember putting them down on my living room floor. I didn't have a table or anything, and then like, now what? And one of my friends sort of took me under his wing. He was a pretty well-established DJ. I was kind of a natural, so that helped. And I started making mixes and making mixtapes and sharing them with my friends there. Got deeply involved with the whole scene there, and not just DJing, but you know, putting together parties and going to events and DJing and all aspects of it. I played at some of the biggest clubs there, but I was never a resident. I never made a real name for myself. At the time, I was a school teacher for work, and there was a law. They tried to pass a law making raves illegal. And I spoke at the Capitol on that topic, trying to convince them that we weren't all criminals. This was a gig, one of my last gigs in DC before moving to Europe. It was at 5 or 5:30 in the morning, and that was really hard to stay up and wait for my gig and not get sleepy, but I was nervous and all of that. But it went really well. Me and my second husband left in 2003 when President Bush was re-elected. So we moved to Spain. We formed our family. I DJ'd for a little bit in Spain, early on in Madrid, but in those days there were almost no women DJs, and it was extremely sexist. And so I stopped for a while. I sold my turntables and my records, and I didn't know if I would get back into it or not. That took my attention for a while. My driving force was techno, and then in terms of relationships, my other big passion is polyamory, which is a certain form of relating in which you can have more than one serious partner at a time. And my husband and I believed in that. The economy in Spain really collapsed in 2008, and our business wasn't doing very well. We moved to the Netherlands in 2010, and we stayed just a short distance from the Westergasfabriek. So I realized, oh, the techno here, wow. And it's been great ever since then. And in 2011, I got the bug again to start making mixes. And I didn't have turntables, and everything had gone digital. And after swearing I would never ever be a button-pushing DJ, no, I bought my tractor gear, and I learned to be a button-pushing DJ. No matter how much you think you know how things are going to go and how things are going to turn out, you don't. Lack of connection is the source of most of our problems in this world. Is that we're strangers and we don't know each other. I think anything is better than being strangers. The best decisions I've ever made were the ones that were focused on my own personal passions and interests, and not on what society or other people said I should be focused on in my life. Discard what society's telling you you should be doing and what should be important to you, and find out what it really is.